Good morning, Pioneers. My name is Connor Morrison.
And I'm Justice Cullivan. Welcome to The Grit.
Let's get started with our weekly sports recap. Over the weekend, boys lacrosse beat crosstown rival Olentangy 10-6. This win broke a 4-year drought for boys lacrosse, who hadn't beaten Tangy in the last 4 seasons. Congratulations, boys. And, this lacrosse team's pretty dominant. They're 16th in the state right now, and they might have moved up because they've won a couple games
I
put that in.
I've heard around 11th or 12th in the state rankings. So this is probably the best boys lacrosse team we've seen in at least a good long while. It's exciting to see. They're a high-scoring team. I believe they only have, 1 or 2 losses on the season, right?
Yeah, I think 2.
Yeah, so they're looking pretty elite. They're looking dangerous. They got a great overall core, especially a veteran core. You got like Cohen Sayer, he's committed to college. You got Will Musgrove, you got Connor Burns, who's also going to college. You got a bunch of guys who are committed. So you got a great all-around team, and obviously, this veteran team. They're dominating, but even Connor Burns, he's a junior and he's the best, and he's the highest goal scorer on the team. So
yeah, he leads the team in goals, and obviously
or something.
A lot of seniors on that team. You mentioned a few of them: Will Musgrove, Cohen Sayer, Carver Gibson, Liam Hoffman. There's just a lot of experience on the team, which obviously really helps. And we saw how experience works on teams like with the state championship for basketball.
Yeah.
A lot of seniors were on that team and were able to kind of help out the younger players there was mainly a lot of seniors that got most of the minutes. But
the starting 5 was 3 seniors and 2 juniors. So, and they obviously made it far last year to regional finals, and then they lost, and then you could see that experience throughout the playoffs, especially in the state championship game.
And it's the exact same thing for lacrosse.
Yeah.
So as they're getting close to postseason, hopefully they continue to go on a run. Maybe they make a run in the postseason. Maybe we get another state championship.
Continue this dominant orange run.
Yeah, absolutely.
Girls lacrosse dropped a game against Strongsville 6-12. Senior high attacker Sophia Carr scored 2 goals for the Nears in the loss. Boys tennis beat Cincinnati Sycamore 3-2, with wins coming from the second singles and first and second doubles. Track and field competed at the Freedom Relays meet. Boys won in a 4x100 and 4x200 relays, and the girls' 4x-mile relay set a school record. Nice job, runners.
On Monday, boys baseball unfortunately dropped their game against district rival Olentangy Liberty in a close one, 2-3. Zane Konzak and Jake Luling both scored for Orange. Softball also lost to Liberty 1-3.
Boys lacrosse dominated Hilliard Bradley on Tuesday, winning 16-4. Junior Connor Burns led the team in scoring, putting in 5 in the net on the win. On Saturday, the boys won 19-12 against Delaware Hayes. Track and field also dominated on Tuesday, beating Dublin Scioto and Olentangy Berlin. The girls scored 105 team points, and the boys scored 150.
So obviously, this track team is also very good. One of the dominant spring teams. We're gonna get to call their game or meet next week. I'm excited for that. That's gonna be fun.
And I think it's a bit. The coaching here at Orange is obviously phenomenal, and we talked to Walters. He's one of the better coaches in this school. He's extremely talented. I mean, they're almost always in that state championship for Ohio discussion. They got a great team. He said he likes this team a lot. He said his coaching staff is great. So I think this is going to be I know they play today. So I guess we'll continue to see how dominant they are, and hopefully they win that game, that meet that we get to call. And I'm super excited for that one on May 9th.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of college commits on that team, too. Matthew Schroff is obviously one of the best runners in the state. They have Brooke Chapman, who's an extremely good runner as well. So they've got a lot of talent on their roster as well, mainly from juniors and seniors who've been on the team for a long time. Same thing. It all just goes back to experience for the most part.
Yeah, and just continue to watch it and make sure to tune in on May 9th.
Mm-hmm.
Girls lacrosse had their senior night on Wednesday. The girls were up 7-2 before the game was postponed and eventually canceled due to weather.
Just last week, boys tennis won their first OCC title since 2022 with a dominant 4-1 win against Olentangy Liberty. Let's throw it over to Alex and Coach Rutherford to hear more about their season and OCC title. Alex?
Thanks, guys, and thank you, Coach Rutherford, for joining us on The Grit.
Absolutely.
So first, can you describe your coaching philosophy and coaching philosophy and how it kind of connects with values you want to teach in high school athletics?
Yeah, one of the things that we really try to focus on is maximizing the player's ability and skill level, but really the more important thing is maximizing their character. And unfortunately, in some situations or scenarios, it doesn't always fit with other people's ideals with regards to high school athletics, where most of the emphasis is put on winning and losing and doing so at all costs. But we have two phrases that we like to use with our team, and that is to win humbly. So when we win, we do it in a humble way, and then to lose graciously. And so not to hang our heads, but to say, okay, there's an opportunity to get better here. And so we do so by being kind and respectful to our opponents.
And do you have any previous playing or coaching experience, and how has it kind of helped you grow as a coach?
Yeah, so I played at Upper Arlington High School, and then I played additionally at Capital University, and then I played professionally for 2 years. And it was a great journey. I was not a very good tennis player when I first started. I started as a sophomore in high school, but then it was later when I got into college. Had a couple people that believed in me, was able to have a lot of success at the Division III level, and then I played 2 years professionally and got to play against people from all over the world. And it really showed me the highest levels of the sport, so that I can prepare my players to try to reach some of those levels. But additionally, it prepared me culturally. I roomed and played against and befriended players from all over the world. And as a result, it made me more culturally sensitive, aware, empathetic. And that doesn't just help me with my coaching. It also helps me with my teaching in the classroom and then just relating to people wherever I come across them.
And I know you had talked about winning humbly and losing graciously. So how do you kind of balance the competitiveness with player development and sportsmanship?
Yeah, well, that can be difficult because there's a lot of highs and lows when it comes to winning and losing. But getting back to the core of why we're doing these things. So is the purpose to win and lose? Well, for a lot of people, it is. But for me, the thing that I feel like is going to transcend all of that is building them into better young men. And then as a result, they can be better adults. And one of our goals is to try to make each of these players excellent at what they do beyond the sport of tennis, beyond Orange High School. And that means professionally, whatever job or career they choose. It also means relationally. So whether that's as a husband, a father, a son, but trying to make them excellent at what they do. And so instilling those values in them and repeating those regularly is really critical to remind them the core of what we're doing and why we're doing it. And so not making the winning and losing the thing, but rather making character development, building strong relationships, building team cohesiveness, learning how to operate in a culture that is focused on wins and losses and do it in a different way can help them become excellent and again, like I said, transcend the sport of tennis, not just make it about tennis.
Yeah, and kind of speaking on that team cohesion, how are you able to kind of build that up and build a positive culture between all your players?
Well, I tell them at the beginning of the season, each season we remind them, and we do this regularly, that they basically as players have 2 jobs. And their first job is to love one another. And that looks different for different people. And using that word love can be a little bit uncomfortable for high school boys to use or even to hear, because it just feels like it's not tough enough. And then the second thing is to maximize their effort. And each day can be different as far as that's concerned. So a player may not be feeling 100% mentally, physically, emotionally, but they still have a maximum effort that they can give. And so we're looking for that from the players. And so we remind them of those things. Are you loving your teammates consistently? But it's not just about the teammates too. It's also about loving their opponents. And so something that we talk about is not to be scared of adversity, to embrace the challenge of playing against a good opponent, because what we're ultimately looking for is for our opponent to bring the best out of us and for us to bring the best out of our opponent. And so doing things the right way will enable us to do that as often as we can.
And for the tennis program, what are some short and long-term goals you have?
Yeah, well, short term is to make us the absolute best tennis team that we can, skill-wise, but at the same time also making us the team that has the highest character. So a lot of times when you look at teams that are really good, they don't always necessarily behave the best. And so they take on an attitude that is that they're better than other people. But we want to be a team that is excellent at tennis, but also treats everyone that we play, whether that's the worst team we play all season or the best team we play all season, with equity, inclusion, love, grace, all those things. And so, but that takes work because it's not always natural to do that. It is countercultural. It's going against the stream. And then long term, I kind of already talked about this, but really the long term goal isn't about state championships or about any kind of win or loss, but what does their life look like 5, 10, 20 years down the road? And I've had the distinct privilege to keep in contact with and stay close with former players that have, given back still to the program to this day, and they may have been gone for years, and they come back and look for, hey coach, how can I help the team? And that to me is an indication that person is better off because they came through their program. And so that's the question I ask myself every day. How am I setting up a program, a culture that makes them better human beings? And then what does the fruit of that look like in the future? And so that's what we want. We want to see long-term them becoming excellent at what they do in every aspect of their life.
Okay. Thank you so much for coming in again, and great luck on the rest of your season.
Thank you very much.
That's all from me. Now back to the desk.
To finish up our sports recap, baseball beat Liberty 5-3 on Wednesday with Reed Hemrick as the winning pitcher, and also swept Hilly Raleigh 6-0 in the rain makeup game on Thursday.
Finally, both boys and girls lacrosse were active last night, with girls hosting Big Walnut and boys traveling to Delaware Hayes. The girls pulled out an exciting 15-12 victory, with seniors Avery Reed and Ava Deeds combining for 11 goals. The boys stayed dominant, beating Hayes 19-12, with everyone getting involved in the win.
Looking ahead to the weekend, track and field have a meet tonight traveling to Hilliard Derby. Softball is home on Saturday, taking on Pickerington Central on Saturday. Baseball has 2 games, one against Hilliard Davidson and one against Archbishop Moeller.
Girls and boys lacrosse get a break this weekend, but pick it back up next week. Tennis also has a pause in the action before taking on Bexley next Tuesday in districts.
Now let's jump into our pick'ems. And NBA playoffs, first round is pretty much wrapped up. We got 2 more games, possibly 3 more. So we got Warriors tonight in Game 6. They're up 3-2 against the Rockets. And then we finally got the Clippers and Nuggets, which has been the best series so far. Yeah, going to 7 games, going the home stretch. So let's just start off with these 2 games, Warriors tonight versus Rockets.
I actually want to start off, we'll get to those 2 games. I want to start off with the Warriors and Timberwolves series. Not Warriors, Lakers and Timberwolves. Sorry.
Oh, I would love to talk about this.
I know that you are very much not a fan of Luka Doncic. Not really who I want to bring up.
Not that I'm not a fan of. Let me, sorry to interrupt here, but let me just preface this. Luka Doncic is a literal potato sack on defense. I think there are players in the NBA who are no longer in the NBA that are currently playing better defense in the NBA than he is right now. I mean, this dude, I don't even know what he's doing. Like, he's so slow, and he's a great offensive player. We know that, all right? I'm not going to sit here and say he's not. He's a great offensive player. He puts up 30 points tonight, puts up 8 rebounds, 8 assists. That's, crazy stuff. That's like, prime LeBron numbers. That's Michael Jordan numbers. That's stuff that you see from the greats. His defense is horrific. I mean, I can't even watch him play defense. He's like, the guy just drives right past him, and he just sits there and just watches him. It's like he's just incapable of playing defense. Anthony Edwards was just blowing past him. Julius Randle was blowing past him. He watched the series. It was pathetic. The Lakers should be embarrassed. JJ Redick should be fired. I mean, wow. Do you see that stat?
You think he should be fired in his first season?
No, I don't think he should be fired. Okay. But I don't like him. He's annoying. His whole comment about like how he would average 60 points in the 80s, like, buddy, you would get knocked to the ground and you'd be hurt and you'd never be allowed to play again. All right, you're like 5'9". I don't want to hear it. He was a great college player, one of the best 2 players of all time. But Luka Doncic is the worst defender in the NBA. He is not in the NBA, in the history of the NBA.
Wow.
I think I could score with him. I told you, we were having a debate on this. If I got 10 attempts to score Luka Doncic, I know he's 6'7". I know he weighs like 270 pounds. I am scoring a point on him.
You're not scoring. You're not scoring.
I am scoring a point.
You're not scoring on any NBA player.
Luka Doncic.
Back to what I originally wanted to say. Do you think that this is LeBron's last season, or do you think he comes back next season?
No, because LeBron is a Kim Kardashian of the NBA. I mean, he always has to have the limelight on him. That is his thing. He is going to puff this off, and he's going to be like, I've given everything to the game. I've been giving it all. I don't know, maybe it's time for me to hang it up, and then he'll come back next year. This is just what he does, all right? I mean, listen, we've been hearing about this for years. I don't think he's given up. He was averaging like 25 points in the series. He's fine. His longevity is insane. As much as I am a Michael Jordan fan, as you know, I'm on the Michael Jordan side of the GOAT debate. There is no one who has ever been as longevity dominant as LeBron is in this sport, besides maybe Bobby Orr. Look up Bobby Orr, guys. Played for like 40 years. It's actually insane. But like LeBron James, he's become accustomed to being the center of the NBA. He is going to puff this up like a big old puffer fish, and it's going to be this big thing. And it'll end up being like, oh, he'll stay another year, and then the Lakers will somehow get Giannis, and they'll probably win another ring. And it's gonna be horrible. But I am very happy that they're out, and we'll see. I think it's 50-50 if I'm being honest with myself. I think there's a solid chance that he does retire, but I can't see LeBron giving up at a first round gentleman's sweep.
I don't think that's the way that he would go out. But I agree with you. I think it's definitely close to the very end. But yeah, I agree. He's not going to go out in a gentleman's sweep as his last ever season. So I agree. He'll probably be back next year.
You know what a debate that I want to talk about is Jalen Brunson. What is your opinion on him? Because he is one of the most controversial players right now. You know, a lot of people don't like him because he look, even Knicks fans have to say, that dude will fall over if a gust of wind, or actually a fart from a fan 200 feet away hits him, he will fall over, okay? It's true. It's true. I mean, this is just like a very true statement. But my goodness, was that shot that he hit last night with 4.3 seconds? Yeah. That was tough. That was tough. I can't even lie. That was like, I mean, that little, hey.
I don't know if that
was tough.
It was a great shot. I agree. He's obviously a flopper in the league. Obviously, I think flopping in general is kind of a big issue in the NBA right now. That's what a lot of people
not just him. That's another thing.
Call for. He's obviously someone that does it a bit more, obviously, but you know, I think he's still a good player. Obviously, he was averaging like almost 30 to 35 points each game in the series so far. He's done a great job. Obviously, he's keeping the team in the series right now. So we'll see. I don't dislike him as much as you dislike him.
No, I don't dislike him. Honestly, I think it's more on the refs to not make these calls than it's on him to stop flopping. If I'm very much someone, if the refs are not going to call it, why wouldn't you do it? You know, I can't. And he's not the only player that does it. You know, I think Shea, obviously, this whole season has been called a free throw merchant. You know, I mean, we've seen all the trends of like, I just turned on the TV and it's Shea on the free throw line. So like, obviously, he's not the only. Luka does it. I mean, we're just talking. Luka's does it all the time. Harden used to do it. He's the best of all time at it. I don't think it's any different, and these guys don't get scrutinized as much outside of Shea than Jalen Brunson does. And obviously, he doesn't care because, dude, I mean,
if it works, he's not going to stop doing it.
I don't think he's going to be able to do it against the Celtics, though. Celtics are probably going to, I think they're going to destroy the Knicks. And I'm really excited for the Eastern Conference Series. Honestly, the second round of the playoffs is going to be elite. I just feel like no one can be the Thunder or Celtics right now. Those are my two picks for the finals.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I mean, the Thunder obviously putting up huge numbers, like 50 points on the Grizzlies in Game 1 of the series, and they just dominated the Grizzlies the whole series. Celtics obviously are going to look very good. Cavs look very good against the Heat, dominated them 1-4, correct? Or
the Cavs was a sweep, and the Celtics were 4-1.
Yeah, Cavs swept the Miami Heat, who a lot of people had as a sleeper team, maybe give the Cavs a bit of a struggle, and obviously not. So
they did not.
Yeah, we'll see. NBA playoffs are going to continue for the next couple weeks here, so we'll keep covering it.
Yeah, and next Friday we'll definitely have some answers to some of our questions and see how the series are going.
Yeah, let's see. That's all for our show this week. Thanks for tuning into The Grit. Make sure to support your Nears in action this week. I'm Connor Morrison.
And I'm Justice Colvin. We'll see you right next Friday, right here on The Grit. And as always, roll Nears.